A gentle breeze blows, the sound of an old creaking door. This is the story of a mansion, one that has stood empty for centuries. The villagers whisper that whoever spends a night inside, their soul never returns by morning. But Ahmad, he never believed in such tales. One night, filled with bravado, Ahmad gathered his courage and stepped through the ancient doorway. Cobwebs draped from the ceiling like ghostly veils, broken windows stared like vacant eyes, and the old portraits on the walls. It felt as though someone was watching him from every shadowy corner. Suddenly, from the upper floor, a sound drifted down. Laughter. A woman's laughter. Soft, yet chillingly poisonous. Ahmed flicked on his flashlight, its beam cutting through the darkness, and began to climb the grand creaking staircase. At the top of the stairs stood a large, ornate mirror, and in that mirror, Ahmad wasn't alone. Standing just behind him was a woman. She was dressed in white, her hair disheveled, and from her eyes dripped a black, viscous liquid. Ahmed spun around, but no one was there. He was alone on the landing. When he dared to look back into the mirror, the woman had placed her cold hand on his shoulder. The mansion was never truly empty. That woman, she was the first mistress of the house, murdered by her own husband 100 years ago. They say her spirit is still trapped within these walls. And whenever a man enters this place, she believes her husband has finally returned for her. Ahmed tried to run, but the heavy front door slammed shut on its own. A cold gust of wind tore through the hall, and whispers rose from the corners of the room names, sins, revenge. Ahmad opened his mouth to scream, but no sound came out. By morning, the worried villagers forced the mansion's door open. Inside, there was no sign of Ahmad, only his burnt jacket lying in a heap on the floor. And on the surface of the mirror, scrawled in what looked like blood, were 2 words, "I found you." They say, to this day, whoever looks into that mirror sees another face hidden within their own reflection, a face from another time, with eyes that see, but are not alive. Years later, a young couple passing through the area was captivated by the mansion's haunting beauty. They stopped, deciding it would be an adventure to stay there for a night. At the gate, a stooped old woman from the village met them. She warned, her voice raspy, "You can stay, but not for more than one night." The couple just laughed, dismissing her as a superstitious local, and went inside. But what happened that night was beyond anything they could have ever imagined. In the dead of night, the wife awoke, feeling a presence in the room. She was certain someone was walking near their bed. She sat up, her heart pounding, and saw it near the door, an old toy doll moving on its own. The doll slowly turned its head toward her, and when she saw its eyes, her blood ran cold. Those glass eyes, they looked just like her mother's, the mother who had died years ago. Drawn by some unseen force, the wife picked up the doll. It was warm, its porcelain feeling eerily like human skin. Suddenly, the doll lifted its head and whispered in a child's voice, "Where is my son?" Her breath caught in her throat. A scream tore from her lungs, echoing through the night, a sound of pure terror that reached the village miles away. By morning, the door was open once more. The couple's belongings were scattered everywhere, but of the couple themselves, there was no trace. One thing was certain: whoever entered that house left their past behind, and what lives in the past never lets go. It is said that long ago, a researcher tried to uncover the truth about the woman of the mansion. He was never the same again. The truth he found was horrifying. She had tried to keep her son alive through a dark, bloody ritual, binding his soul to the living world with a human sacrifice. But even after the ritual, her spirit never found peace. It still searches for love in the living or in the dead. One day, an old woman, a storyteller, came to the village. She listened to the tales and said, "If you want this spirit to rest, you must break the mirror." Many brave souls tried. But whenever the mirror shattered, another identical mirror would appear within its frame, and inside that new mirror, a glimpse of another world. The most terrifying thing about the mansion is this: whoever is chosen forever. Over the years, some people from the village simply vanished. Some were found wandering the fields, their minds broken, and for a few, time itself seemed to warp. Morning would become night in an instant, and night would stretch into an eternity. And the spirits, they still wait for the one who betrayed them, for the one who left them all alone. One night, a young woman named Sarah was walking home, her heart heavy after her parents' funeral. As she passed the mansion, tired and lost, she felt an inexplicable pull toward the place. She found herself at the gate, peering inside. And there, she saw the mirror. She saw her own reflection. But behind it, another face was forming. It was the face of her grandmother, the one who had been dead for years. Sarah flinched and turned around, but she was alone. When she looked back at the mirror, her grandmother's reflection smiled a sad, welcoming smile and said, "Come, stay with us. We've been waiting." Sarah tried to run, but the gate had already swung shut behind her. From that night on, her voice could sometimes be heard on the wind, a distorted, haunting echo calling others to come closer. Now think, if one night you were passing by that mansion and you heard someone call your name in a voice that sounded just like someone you love, would you go to them? Would you take their hand? Sometimes, the ones we love, they call us back. Not to give love, but to take us to a place where it never ends. In life or in death. This story doesn't end here. The mirror still stands. And so does she. And if someday, while looking in a mirror of your own, you see a flicker of movement, someone standing just behind you, remember this story. It might not be your reflection. It could be your future, your punishment, or your last memory of love. Some stories never die. They just wait to be remembered. And the things we try so desperately to forget are the ones that never forget us. So if you ever hear someone calling your name in the dead of night, think twice before you answer. Thank you for joining me in the shadows. If you enjoyed this tale, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon so you don't miss our next journey into the dark. Stay safe, and whatever you do, don't look behind you.